I think, I agree with my colleagues when we talk about this is a very important discussion and a very important decision we're going to make, and it's going to last for at least 20 years. That's not just for us, that's for many councils to come. And so says yes, that we can take the time properly debating, I think is, well, I got a couple of questions I'd like to ask the CFO, and the first one is, when we talk about, right now we are committed to finalize our funding to the hospital project. And this year, sorry, next year, by July of 2012, we will make a payment of $1.4 million to the hospital that will end our commitment. And at the same time, we have the money set aside to do that.
That is correct, as of the end of December. As of the end of this year, we'll have all of that money earned to the progress fund, and it will be sitting there available to be paid out between January and July.
Will we have more than that, or will we just have that?
We'll probably just have that on. It's going to be very close.
And that will come out of, you said the money will be there by the end of this year?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be making a $1.4 million commitment from this year, and then it's suggested that we will be spending some, if we go with one of the scenarios here, a minimum of $770,000 as a payment on the Benson Center.
Correct. For 2012.
Yeah, so in 2012 we'll finish up the hospital and make it. And I don't have a problem with that. And at no time, as in this discussion, and I'm talking about Councillor Cummin's motion to defer, did she say that we weren't going to use the progress fund? I don't think it's just how much of the progress fund we're going to use. One of the reasons we delayed was we said, okay, how much is it going to cost us to operate the Benson Center? That was one of the reasons we didn't make a decision. Do we know how much it's going to cost us to run the Benson Center? Is it going to cost less to run the Benson Center than it costs to run the Bob Turner and the Water Street Arena? And now we have a change at the Civic Complex, so that should also be part of the, do we know, have that number yet?
Mr. Fade?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, we haven't made that. We're just submitting our budget information for the 2012 Benson Center, so we will be making those.
I didn't picture it out of, wasn't the third question, I was asking. So we don't have that information. Would you guess and say, through the CFO or to the, Mr. Fade, again through the chair?
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Through the chair.
I don't think we're debating what the operating costs are, it's the capital costs. And I think we're talking about using the funds and that, not talking about operating costs. That has nothing to do with the.
Well, if you just be patient and wait a minute, you'll find out
Not
what
be
I'm
patient
doing.
about. There's nothing.
This is a huge thing. When we talk about the operating cost, we were talking one time about we would save money on the operating cost of the arena. Are we still confident that will happen? Or will it be a break-even proposition, or will it cost us a little more?
I don't want to engage in, I don't want to get into the debate. I just don't know that the question can be accurately answered given the variables that are out there, Councillor.
I agree with you, Your Worship, and the reason for asking the question is because if there was a saving, I would suggest to you that saving be added to the money that we have from the progress fund. I think we can. There's no reason to rush and make a decision tonight. I think the CFO...
We've had the debate on the deferral. That matter has been put aside. Notwithstanding on what side of the issue you were, if you have any other comments on the main motion, I'm prepared to entertain that. But not go back on the debate that was concluded shortly.
I think it's a shame that when we talk about an item so as important as this is, we're going to be committing this much money for 20 years and we don't have the opportunity to say everything that we do that concerns us about this particular issue. I'll sit down.
Any further debate on this? Councillor Tivo has not spoken to the main motion. Councillor Tivo.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to support the recommendation by administration. I think if I understood the whole process tonight with the recommendation, we're not making a decision on which options or additional options that might come up at future discussions over the next number of months. All we're saying at this point in time is that we're going to utilize the fund in order to pay down the debt from the Benson Center. And so that point of view and understanding, I have no choice but to support the motion, because we need to get into the second part of these discussions at some point down the road, which will be how and which one of the options will be best for this council to adopt in order to make sure that we pay down the debt in a reasonable fashion. And that may be an option that allows us to continue to invest in other projects down the road as well. So based on that, I support the recommendation by administration.
Councilor McDonald?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I support the recommendation as well of administration. I feel that this is the reason that we have the progress fund set aside to pay for items like this, and if we do come across some other eventuality in the future where we need money, well, that would be the time to go to the tax base to raise the money. We have this money now, and I think we shouldn't not allocate it for fear that we will have some expenses that we can't handle in the future. I'd rather leave those expenses for the future, and we have this money now, this expense now, let's start paying this bill.
Councilor Clement?
Thank you, Councillor Carr. You rock. I just want to say, I'm not comfortable with the wording of this recommendation because it will allow us to use all of the interest on the payment for the Benson Centre. And as Councillor Carr interpreted my comments correctly, I don't mean that we shouldn't use some of it, but I think we should have a discussion about using maybe a portion of it and talking about that. That's not going to take place, but this recommendation, the way it's worded, doesn't satisfy me, doesn't make me feel comfortable, so I'll vote.
Record a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone spoke and wants to speak on this? Record a vote. All those in favor of the main motion? Opposed? Carried.